Alabama isn't usually the first state people think of as one they would want to move to, yet despite the fact that it flies pretty under the radar, there are some really great things about living here, but there's also some stuff that you need to be made aware of so that you can know if it's going to be a good fit for you.
What's up, y'all? I'm Tony, and this is my partner Jess, and in case you don't know already, we are the #1 relocation team in all of Lower Alabama.
That's right, we're your go-to realtors here in Lower Alabama, and we've got a plan of action waiting for you to help you seamlessly move down here to Baldwin County if it's the right fit for you. So make sure to reach out when you're ready to move. Now let's dive in and talk about some stuff that you definitely got to know before moving here.
Sweet home Alabama.
First and foremost, familiarize yourself with the weather in LA before you make the move. Some of y'all vacation here, so you already know it's hot. And some of y'all are just moving here from watching our videos and what we post. So you have to be prepared and ready for the heat. While it's humid all year round, the humidity really peaks in the summer months, let me tell you. And temperatures can easily reach the high 90s and feel like 100 degrees out there, and humidity levels are over 70%. It's crazy.
Yeah, for people who are used to drier climates, the humidity can be quite a shock. The air feels thicker and you're immediately sweaty and sticky, and it just like feels like you can never cool down.
We're in a subtropical climate and you're gonna sweat, or the opposite. You'll just hide inside in the air conditioning. Your car is gonna be hot. You're gonna run the AC around the clock. And with that said, you gotta stay hydrated. If you can't handle the heat, stay out of Lower Alabama.
Yeah, there are days when I can't handle the heat. I get like an instant headache when I walk outside some days. I tend to get dizzy and lightheaded if I'm not staying extra hydrated. So if you're sensitive to the heat, beware. I do feel like it's mostly locals that stay inside and hide during those hot days. Us transplants are the ones who don't mind the heat as much. And I think it's because a lot of people relocating here suffered long enough in those cold weather states the majority of their lives, so this tropical climate doesn't faze them. And I think they just have like a deeper appreciation for being able to spend time outdoors. At least that's how I feel.
Jess goes outside to warm up because she's freezing in the air conditioning, and then when she gets out there, she's like, it's too hot.
I'm always shivering inside. I don't know, what is the thermostat at?
I don't know, it's right around like 69, 70 degrees.
Well, I always have goosebumps, and this one loves the heat. You'll see him out there golfing 18 in 100-degree weather.
Yeah, 107 the other day with the heat index. I'm made for this weather. I love every second of it. I don't know how or why we ever lived in the Midwest, because the heat is where it is at.
Yeah, the humidity is something that everybody loves to hate, but it's also a blessing. It takes a lot longer to get wrinkles in Alabama's natural sauna, believe it or not. So while our cousins are in drier parts of the country just like shriveling up, the skin of us Alabamians remains smooth and dewy. Now our hair, it gets frizzy, but we're trying to be positive here, so let's just ignore that. Do we run our AC all year round?
No, I wouldn't say every day, not at all. But even in our colder months, there's days when, you know, we just get used to the heat and having the AC on. So just anticipate running the AC almost year round, along with golfing year round. Where else can you do that at? It's literally, it's amazing. It's great.
Along with the heat, y'all need to know that we experience hurricanes and on occasion tornadoes. We get asked that all the time, so don't go and cancel your plans, because the storms do typically pass quickly and the sun does come out and it dries everything up, and then you can just continue with that barbecue or your kids' baseball game or the beach day.
We do get hit with some severe storms. The thunder and lightning are crazy. Jess is always paranoid about us being outside during the storms because the lightning strikes are that intense.
It's crazy. People get struck by lightning.
The worst part of it, in my opinion, is the wind. The wind is powerful. It knocks down fences and tree limbs. Pretty much every week I'm cleaning up limbs and branches that get blown all over our yard and our pool and I. Speaking of our pool enclosure, I just had to put a 20-foot ladder into my pool because a tree branch came down right into the middle of our screen on the very top. So we had to go out there and fix it.
Oh, we tried to fix it, and for a moment we thought that I'd be able to climb on the lanai because the guy that installed it said that it could hold like a human body weight.
And when she says we, she means her. I never
Well, no, I
said
was
go up
gonna.
there.
I didn't think you should, but I did try it and I got up there and it was a hard no. Definitely, I felt like I was gonna go right through that screen.
That whole scenario you just talk about was a hard no. I was like, don't do it.
If our neighbors saw us the other day, they probably thought we were crazy. They probably were like, "What is Jess and Tony doing now?" Like we had this huge ladder. We're like on top of the lanai. Like then we had the ladder in our actual pool, and I'm like holding it for dear life, and he's like.
I'm on the very top
was
of it.
so crazy.
Of course. So
But we did it. We
just
made
know
it
that's
happen.
part of it. That's what comes with it.
Our wind is crazy. One of our clients recently closed on a home here and we just so happened to be experiencing a lot of severe storms with consecutive days of rain. Needless to say, we had to reassure her that she was safe from tornadoes.
We just got a brand new tornado warning for Baldwin County. This is going to be near the southern part of the...
Usually you're safe. Next thing you got to be aware of is the need of hurricane insurance. If you plan to obtain a home mortgage, it's gonna be a requirement on your policy if you live within Mobile or Baldwin County, which is where we service.
Right, and it sucks that it's a little bit more expensive, but you're gonna want it because if we need it, you're definitely gonna be sorry if you don't have it. When Sally hit a few years back, a lot of people needed new roofs. They had flood damage from water coming in where there was once a roof, or the wind knocked down fences and trees. I promise you do not want to be in a position where you can't get any of that fixed after a hurricane.
Yeah, hopefully your insurance companies don't just file bankruptcy, but that's a whole nother topic. Rates are higher than they used to be, so be prepared to include this in your budget. But on average, we see home insurance come in at around $2,000 to $3,000 usually, unless you live, in a bigger home with fancier finishes, or if you're right on the water. And speaking of, you don't need flood insurance everywhere you go. Only when there's a floodplain. So if you're by water like a river, a bayou, a bay, the Gulf Coast, expect to pay for flood insurance on top of your regular homeowner's insurance. I get this one a lot.
Okay, the next thing we gotta talk about with y'all is that at some point, you're gonna hear from someone say how Alabama is 10 years behind. I still don't understand what the hell people mean when they say that. I really don't.
I mean, we
It
have
blows
like
my mind.
fiber internet and we have,
I don't know. So
everything.
if you're watching and you have an opinion on this, please share it in the comments because I need some more elaboration on how we're so behind down here in Alabama.
People actually used to say Alabama was 50 years behind the rest of the world, talking about, progressive social structures, technology, like I just mentioned, etc. But then people found out we're just a laid-back community with no desire to jump in to the 23rd century.
Exactly.
And now a lot of people come here with, their ideas, and they just bring their ideologies with them, but still want to live a laid-back lifestyle.
Hey, as long as they keep some of those ideologies to themselves, they'll be just fine. There's a reason why we are quote-unquote 10 years behind, and honestly, we're really not. In my opinion, I don't think we are.
People throw that phrase out there instead of recognizing this is just the Southern culture here. It's laid back, it's chill, it's relaxed.
Yeah, we want to keep things at a slow pace. We don't want to live a fast-paced life. We enjoy taking our time and being present in the moment, talking to our neighbors and getting to know the owners of local shops and sitting in our rocking chairs and watching our kids play outside.
Or the guy that comes and services, your termites and sprays for pests.
We want to tell them what just happened. We thought we had termites, and I panicked yesterday. And we called Arrow, and we're like, we think we have termites. And they we called them after hours yesterday at like 5:30, and they came over this morning. They checked everything out. We don't have termites.
Because they don't want to pay for it.
Hallelujah, we don't have termites.
But when we talked to them, they were cool, and they were like, hey, we're going to go get a pool table. They saw mine, and they were like, we're going over to Mississippi, pick it up. It's like, it's actually my dad's, and I was like, that's awesome. And then we just kind of piggybacked off that and just kept talking. So, I mean, that's what you get here.
Yeah, they spent a good bit of time here working and then just chatting with us and making us feel comfortable. And that's what's so great about companies like Arrow. We'd be comfortable with them coming in our home, even if we weren't home and they needed a service for us.
A lot of companies in general. Again, that's that Southern culture. But back to what Jess was saying, we like to get out there and, just take our time, play a quick 18 holes.
I'm sorry,
things like that.
Did you say quick? and it's not 18 holes. You always end up at the 19th hole. Let's not forget about that. And it's a good 5 to 6 hour day of golf.
Hey, we take our time. Remember, we're in the South, and the 19th hole is mandatory. It's like going to a baseball game and not eating a hot dog. It's just not American.
Okay, all right, y'all. We're just in no hurry to rush through our days, or life for that matter. So if our technology or logistics just aren't what you're used to in California, in New York, or Chicago, just feel free to not move here. Don't come.
Tell 'em.
Don't come here just to complain how we don't have this or that or the other thing.
Right? Don't move here if you're not going to embrace the Southern lifestyle. Just don't do it. As a transplant who moved here myself, I can understand locals' frustrations when newbies want different stores and chains, or complain about our restaurants and our food and traffic. The measly little bit of cost of living that goes up with homeowners insurance, for example.
Yeah, we love it here, and while we might miss friends from Chicago and great Chinese food and amazing pizza, the seafood and barbecue the seafood and barbecue is the best trade-off, hands down.
All right, y'all. Next is that you should beware of this before you move here, and that's that it's not uncommon to hear most people use the words sir and ma'am.
Yes, sir!
Ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Right here in Lower Alabama, both sir and ma'am are typically used when, speaking to someone who's in a position of authority, or when asking for help, or when you're in, a customer service position, something along those lines.
You call me ma'am?
No.
No, sir. Yeah, and sometimes visitors not from the area feel that being called ma'am is actually a bit of an insult, like you're insinuating that they're old and stuffy.
I'm not old.
But it's really not that at all.
No.
It's just people being polite, and you'll get
And respectful.
and you'll get used to it pretty quickly. Also, children will use Miss or Mr. plus first names to address adults, and then adults will refer to other adults in this way in front of their children.
For example, to our kids, and like she was just saying, we're Mr. Tony and Mrs. Jessica. And just know, if your kids don't follow suit, it won't go unnoticed.
In other words, you will be judged for having rude Yankee kids. I'm serious. Manners are a big deal down here, and if you and your kids don't have them, you're gonna stick out like a sore thumb, and that's the God's honest truth. So we're Mrs. Jessica and Mr. Tony to your children.
Southerners pride themselves so much on being polite that we actually enrolled our children into etiquette classes.
Yeah, it's actually cotillion, which is a mainstay in Southern culture. Tony Jr. is entering the 6th grade this fall, and he'll be doing his cotillion. He's not that happy about it, but they have to dance with girls, so he's like,
Yeah, whatever. Bottom line is, if you want to embrace our Southern lifestyle, be ready to treat your guests like their family. As the saying goes, there are no strangers, just friends we haven't met yet. And we extend this kindness to everyone we work with, everyone we know, forming lifelong connections and opening our homes and our hearts.
We hope you enjoyed this video and that it made you that much more excited to join us down here in the Cotton State. So please like and subscribe to our channel.
And our calendar link is in the description box below to schedule a call with us today so we can help you with your move down to beautiful Lower Alabama. See you guys.
See y'all next time.